Welcome to the January 2015 episode of Iowa City in Focus. I'm your host, Mary Bryant. Every January, the Iowa City City Council holds a series of meetings to consider the city's budget for the upcoming fiscal year. So this month, the City Council is looking at the budget for fiscal year 2016, which starts in July. On this month's episode, I'll talk with City of Iowa City Finance Director Dennis Bockenstedt about the city's budget planning process. Then we'll visit the Winter Solstice Festival of Light, held by Parks and Recreation in December. And last but not least, you'll get a glimpse of Iowa City's 175th birthday party, also held in December. Stay tuned. Today I'm talking with Dennis Bockenstedt, the Finance Director for the City of Iowa City. So we're talking about the city budget. So Dennis, can you tell me a little bit about what goes into making the city budget? I can't imagine how complicated it actually is.
Yes, the city budget begins with the City Council's strategic plan. Every other year they meet and discuss their long-range plans and goals. And from that, we create service levels. Each year we start with the service levels that were provided from the year before, and we compile the costs to provide that level of services to the public. Subsequently, then we look at the city's revenue sources, what property tax levels came in, what projected revenues are, and see if all of that, when you put it together, balances. And from that, then we can look at changes in service levels or changes in required fees or revenues. And in the end, we get a budget that's put together and brought to the council for their review.
So what's the timeline for this sort of thing?
It usually takes a pretty long timeline. We generally start the budget process in October, where we start sending out information to the departments and gathering that information in. And once we start getting that in, then we meet with departments to go through their information, what they're seeing at their level, and we start to pull that together. And then sometime around, like this time of year, December, we start getting in the tax totals from the county, and we start bringing all that together, and then that budget goes out to the council just before Christmas time so they can look it over for, I guess, the holidays.
And then in January, that's when they meet to go over everything in detail.
Yes, then City Council starts meeting in January. They will look at the capital improvement projects, the 5-year plan. They'll look at the service levels and the property tax levels that are being proposed in the budget, and then they will have their public hearings on that information.
Oh, so January is a pretty big time for this.
Yeah.
And this then sets the budget for the next fiscal year.
Yeah, this is the budget that'll begin in July of the following year. So it's actually done, 8, 9, 10 months ahead of time. So there's a lot of, looking ahead and thinking what things are going to be, 8, 9, 12 months from now.
Okay. Now you mentioned the capital improvements projects. Can you go into what that is a little bit? I think the public might find that particularly interesting.
Yeah, and we generally start that process about a month before the budget, where we go to the departments and ask them to look out for what projects that they see happening over the next 5 years. And those are generally projects that are $25,000 or more. And we ask them, usually they require GO bond funding or grant funding or other sources of revenue other than property taxes. And so we begin compiling that, and then we have a series of meetings with a committee that reviews those, ranks them, grades them, and then at the end of that we come up with the projects that we think should be planned over the next 5 years, and that is integrated into the budget that's presented to the City Council.
We'll come back to my conversation with Dennis. But first, let's turn to Iowa City's Parks and Recreation Department to get a glimpse of their first ever Winter Solstice Festival of Light.
Today it's the Winter Solstice Festival of Light, so we have a few activities for different reasons. So we have some more traditional activities, I guess, that are used around the holidays, like having hot chocolate with marshmallows or cider. We also have winter sewing and making of sachets and bird feeders from all natural materials, and that's kind of to sort of, I guess, celebrate the earthy aspect of the solstice, of like people living on the earth and celebrating it. And so we like to use like recycled or all natural like art here, and so that's a way of doing that.
We offer different activities for kids and adults to do. People can make a lantern, a glass lantern with a little electric tea light, and decorate the outside with tissue paper. And then we did some dried flower crafts. People could make little miniature bouquets and dried flower sachets. I think they make really nice little gifts, so it was kind of fun to see kids make them and say they're going to give them as gifts. And then we're going to have a storytelling time with a story about the solstice. And then we'll have people go outside into the Discovery Garden and light luminaries and leave them there for kind of a light celebration going into the solstice.
I made a bird feeder thing over there. We had a knife with shortener, and we sort of painted it on, and then we put a bunch of bird seed on it, and there was a string on those pine cones, and then you hang it up.
I put glue and I put some papers and stars, and I put a light in there.
I made one of those bird feeder pine cone things, and the hot cocoa is really good.
The winter solstice, it's the longest night of the year or the shortest day, and so it's I think a long time ago it was an important turning point for people and gave them kind of encouragement and hope that the days were going to get longer, and then they could look forward to starting to grow crops again and stuff like that. And here in Iowa, I sure look forward to the days getting longer myself, so that's what we're here to kind of celebrate.
It really just depends on your beliefs in general, but the solstice is a good way for people of all creeds who all live on the same planet together, have the one thing in common, that we all share the seasons and the ground beneath us. And so for the solstice, we celebrate just the changing of the seasons. And it's just, I guess, respect for Mother Nature.
Winter solstice is a time for me of a big transition into this next season, and so it's a time where I'm really aware of darkness and light and kind of an inner reflection of how that is in my own life. It's also a real time of celebration that a transition has happened with the seasons.
It's kind of the beginning of the year and New Year and Christmas and happy stuff.
For me personally, I just look forward to any opportunity to bring people together under one roof, to do art projects and to read books together. I'm a teacher at heart, so for me, that's the most important, is I guess a sense of community and family and closeness where we live. So for me, really any event, that's what I'm here for, is to sort of be creative, inspire others, and I guess have everybody else sort of just love each other.
I think of it as an opportunity for people in the community to come together and do something fun and interesting, and hopefully even a little bit educational. And I think we all need to know about our natural cycles and things like that.
And now it's time for some news you can use. The City of Iowa City's Public Art Program is sending out a call for poetry submissions from local poets for the 13th Annual Poetry in Public program. The program seeks to encourage writers residing in Johnson County from all age groups and all levels of writing experience to submit poems for consideration. Entries are due by 5 p.m. on Friday, February 6, 2015. A full list of contest rules and guidelines, as well as submission forms, are available at www.icgov.org/PIP. Entries may be emailed to Marcia-Bollinger@iowa-city.org or mailed to or dropped off at Iowa City City Hall. Attention, Poetry in Public, 410 East Washington Street, Iowa City, Iowa, 52240. For more information, visit www.icgov.org/PIP or contact City of Iowa City Public Art Coordinator Marcia Bollinger at 319-356-5237 or Marcia-Bollinger@iowa-city.org. Now let's return to my conversation with Dennis Bockenstedt for more about the Finance Department's work on the city budget. The City of Iowa City has won a few awards for its budget presentation the last few years. Can you tell me what goes into that and what does that mean for the city?
Really, that award primarily is given on the document itself. We publish a budget document that we're actually preparing right now, and it's roughly a 400-page document that has all sorts of financial information, long-range planning, operational information. There's a lot of information that's compiled and brought into that, but essentially it summarizes all the services, division, department levels, revenue sources, and all the funding that compiles into the city's budget, and it's a fairly large, comprehensive document. And once you achieve a certain level of standards for that document, then you are able to obtain that award.
And who gives the award?
It's from the Government Finance Officers Association, which is a national organization for government finance. It's a fairly prestigious award.
Good luck this next year then. The next one.
Thanks.
We could get 4 years running.
Right.
So are there any big challenges coming up for your department?
Well, as far as our department, just compiling this budget, the Moody's rating agencies have come under scrutiny, and so they're creating a lot more scrutiny for a lot of governments and how they prepare their financial information, how they review it. In addition, some of the pressures on the revenue sources, such as property tax reform, have created additional challenges. So we've got challenges on the rating side that are kind of meeting challenges that are on the funding side. And so our goal is, one, to maintain service levels for the general public, minimize how those things impact the general public and the services we provide. At the same time, maintain a long-term financial stability. And so that's kind of, when we compile that budget, our challenge is to maintain those levels and maintain the city's financial stability over a long period of time.
That's a pretty big responsibility.
It takes a lot of planning.
Yeah. Can the public get involved? Can they attend some of these?
Yeah, all the city
budget
council,
sessions?
all of the city council meetings are open to the public. So all the hearings on the capital improvement program and the budget are open to the public and available for public input.
The City of Iowa City budget meetings will take place at City Hall in Emma Harvett Hall. City Council members will consider the capital improvement project's budget at the meeting of January 12th. But if you can't make it, the City Cable Division will be recording that particular meeting and playing it on City Channel 4. Visit www.citychannel4.com/TV for playback times, or go to www.citychannel4.com/video/citycouncil after January 12th to watch it via streaming video. And you can watch all of these segments again by visiting citychannel4.com/video or by turning to Channel 5 and calling into Video on Demand. Also, we would like to know what other city departments or processes you would like to hear more about. Let us know by sending an email to info@citychannel4.com or by leaving a comment on the City Channel 4 Facebook page at facebook.com/citychannel4. Thanks for watching this month's episode and keeping Iowa City in focus. We'll leave you with some images from the events that were held in honor of Iowa City's 175th birthday. Be sure to stick around for the grand finale. Enjoy, and we'll see you next month.
Parking ramp, you can see right up there. We increased the number of rooms to 15 to 18 rooms, and the remodeled state. Yeah, exactly.
You're watching City Channel 4. On TV, online, on demand, on Facebook, and now on the go on your mobile device.